Okay, a very good morning again, and we are back right at Southern Crown Court for this ongoing classic epic bribery trial involving Nigeria's former Minister of Petroleum, Diezani Margaret, her brother, Bishop Doye Agama, and third defendant, Olatimbo Ayinde. Yesterday was very, very interesting, very hot. Yesterday, I was telling you how on Wednesday, the name of Mr. Femi Otedola was ringing bells throughout the courtroom. Yesterday, the same thing, but it was cross-examination by the defense barristers. First on his feet was the defense for defendant number one, who is, of course, Madam Diezani, and she asked questions of the investigating officer from National Crime Agency. They were hot. It was hot for him there. They asked him questions. The defense for Alice Madueke was asking whether he had seen the documents which were listed as the Crown evidence. Sometimes it turned out that after over 5 years, even the defense, the investigating officer had not seen those documents. He just wanted to establish that look, these documents, how come there are two Ghana must go evidence or bags that were listed and sent to you by EFCC, which you are tendering as evidence, and was asking, when did you get the chance to examine this? The investigating officer, a couple of times he felt ruffled right there in the witness box. But as if that was not enough, the real thing that happened was when the defense for Olatimbo Ayinde took to his feet. He asked questions, was asking the NCA, the investigating officer for National Crime Agency. Now, this was somebody, and he wanted to establish, addressing the jurors. Remember, it is the 12 jurors, members of the jury, 12 in number, who are going to decide the fate of the defendants. Was asking the investigative officer, this is somebody who came to you, was talking about Olatimbo, that this woman, my client, reported situations, these things to you. Now she's supposed to be protected as a source, as a whistleblower. Now you have put her as a defendant. So he was asking questions about this, and also the name of Otedola kept ringing throughout, because he was saying, look, this woman, she reported, don't forget, like I mentioned, the devil is really in the detail. Olatimbo is a very, very, it turned out, very meticulous lady who had a chronology of event from 2015. That was actually what the Crown, that is one of the things they are relying on. So they brought out a chronology of events, a memoir. When she met President Buhari, she met President Goodluck Jonathan, and then how she contacted APC chieftain Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. She had details of all this in a chronology of memoir, which were private and confidential. Of course, when the investigating officers, when NCA, when they arrested her, when they searched her house and her offices in St. John's Wood, they recovered these documents. So they were the ones the Crown is relying upon, and it was those same evidence that the defense was cross-checking yesterday and was asking the National Crime Agency investigative officer that, and now you have been on this case. How come that somebody who came to report, who was reporting to the authorities, how should you treat her? I was asking, look, in Nigeria of 2015, remember this woman, according to Olatimbo's chronology in her diary, that when she contacted Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then after Jumobi Kachiku had asked her for money, for 1 billion naira, of $5 million so that, our candidate, Prince Momo, could be restored to his position at PPMT, that Olatimbo had gone to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then just a chieftain of APC, that she reported, and she also reported to her MP. So he was telling the defense for her, was saying, look, this was a woman who was asked to play along. In the note that she had, Asiwaju told her to play along with Jumabi. So she put that down. That was recovered in a chronology. And she said, look, this was somebody who, according to what she has done, is a whistleblower. It's not somebody who should be in the dock. It's not somebody who's supposed to be a defendant. I was saying, look, this woman, the title of one of her letters, which she gave to Bribery and which she wrote to her MP, was sexual harassment from a powerful ex. So she was saying, look, in the UK, when somebody is an informant for the police, how are they treated? There is protection for an informant, for a source. He was saying in Nigeria, he does not think, was asking the investigative officer, do you think that exists in Nigeria? How do you think? Now, remember, this investigating officer told us that, look, he had traveled to Nigeria about 3 times, and on each occasion, he had armed guards. So the defense for Olatimbo was saying, look, you went to Nigeria and you got armed guards. How do you think somebody who is an informant should be treated? And she said, look, Olatimbo was a whistleblower. That is what he was trying to impress upon the jurors and making the NCA investigative officer to see. But we were there. He was on the witness box from start yesterday to the judge rose around 4 o'clock. We are back now. Friday, court start at 9:15. So I'm going to rush in. Hopefully at lunchtime, I'll see you. But if not, the reason the name of President Tinubu was dragged in was because he advised Olatimbo to play along with Jimobi, and Olatimbo and they put this down in a chronology, in a memo. Like I said to you, there was one of our documents, over 90 points, over 50 pages, which he wrote. That is just one of the evidence. So the cross-examination continues this morning of the investigative officer from the National Crime Agency. So after that, then we know what to follow. But it was Femi Otedola's name, Emmanuel Kachiku, Festus Keyamo, that were ringing in this courtroom here at Sodo Crown Court yesterday. And the defense kept telling the investigative officer, of course, many times under cross-examination, it is not always comfortable for whosoever is being cross-examined. The investigative officer was taking a lot of sips of water. Many times he will say, I don't know. And then, for instance, among the questions that the defense for Olatimbo asked her, now somebody reported was whistleblowing on people who are trying to extort money from her. Now, this person, why did you not go back to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ask him whether he was ready to give a statement? The investigative officer said, we spoke to Tinubu in August of 2018. He said he wasn't going to give a statement. And then after that, they never contacted him again. The defense for Olatimbo was saying, why did you not make effort again? Probably he will have given you something that this was, he painted Olatimbo and as somebody who was trying to shop Kachiku and people who were trying to harass her and Otedola. So he was arguing on behalf of her client that said, this woman is a whistleblower. This woman is an informant, because this was what she was about. She was reporting corruption among public officials. So not that she was bribing, because after the 1 billion which she transferred to the account of Kachiku, or Jumebi Kachiku, the younger brother of Dr. Emmanuel Kachiku, who was then Minister of State for Petroleum, she asked for the money back, because that was what Tinubu told her. Tinubu told her then that the Buhari I know does not play with corruption, that the Buhari I know put people in jail. So after telling her to play along with the Kachikus and give them the money, so afterward, and she asked for 1 billion back, Jumobi got his lawyer, Festus Keyamo, to write Olatimbo Ayinde to say, look, you're trying to blackmail our clients. And in that letter, the last paragraph, which our defense read yesterday, Jimobi, through the letter written by Festus Keyamo, was saying, look, if you do not stop blackmailing me, this was after he had collected the 1 billion naira and didn't want to refund the money. She was saying, if you do not stop blackmailing my client, be ready, we shall meet anywhere. So the defense for Latimba was pointing out, that looks like a threat. If somebody is saying, be prepared, we shall meet anywhere. And this was somebody who the NCA didn't do anything about. So this was the case that the corner of Olatimbo, our defense argued that case very well yesterday. And like I said, the investigative officer is back in the witness box now. The court should have started. So I'll dash in, and hopefully at the end of proceedings today, we give you an update. Let's see how it goes otherwise on Monday. But we try to give you an update after the cross-examination. The Crown is still trying to finish their case. They have not, because the cross-examination, after the cross-examination, she will do a re-examination before she brings, a case to a close. Hopefully they try to do that today, but today the court closes at 1:30. So we've only got 4 hours of court time today. But yesterday was all day. It was the investigative officer who was in the witness box answering questions, sometimes saying, like I said, I don't know. I don't know. He answered some questions, and don't forget, he took over. He wasn't the original investigative officer. And also, among the things which the defense brought to our notice yesterday was that, look, this woman, you just came after her after she was trying to shock people, powerful people who was trying to extort money from her and harass her, and was saying, look, she also reported to her MP. So this is not somebody who should be in the dock, because she wrote a letter. Don't forget, she wrote a letter to her MP detailing how she got into a relationship with Femi Otedola, and when she wanted to leave, that Otedola told her, no woman has ever left me. Don't be number one. She had that letter written, which she wrote to her MP. She met late President Buhari, who couldn't do much. She presented that letter to him with recommendations. Part of her recommendations then was even that first subsidy should be removed. She also met President Goodluck Jonathan in April of 2015. He couldn't do much as well then. And she also met, that series of exchanges she had with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who told her then, play along with the Kachikus. And she did exactly that. She wrote these things down in a chronology. And the Crown have used it, our defense have used it. The argument is ongoing now. So I'll dash to the courtroom, and then I'll see you later. Thanks.
Thank you.